Hey there, I'm trying to show you how to completely fix broken speaker. I'm gonna start by desoldering these two parts here. I have my tools all here, so I'm gonna have to pause, and the video is gonna be probably made from several videos bundled all together because it'll take probably an hour or so to have the whole video top to bottom in terms of what you can expect. Okay, so I'm gonna start tearing it apart now. I usually use a box cutter in the back side of it. For this one for this part I can just use this. Oh, doesn't seem like a good idea. This one was already redone. It has this like really, so I guess you can choose your own method of taking this apart. I usually do it with the back of the cutter, so I don't. And this is also a very used box cutter, so it doesn't really cut very well, so you don't end up breaking the speaker. For there's the outer spider or bigger spider, I don't know how they're called. So this will be basically my method without using any nail dissolvant polish, nail polish dissolvant, I don't know how they call it. I'm gonna have to search for the term. I mean, basically this seems to be the best method. I'm guessing this one was redone, even though, so it was already fixed, even though it doesn't appear so. So I'm gonna take you through all the steps. Luckily I have the old, this coil basically didn't burn out or catch fire or anything else. It just fell off the paper of from the cone or cylinder, from the cylinder. I'm gonna show you in a moment when I take it apart. So the main idea is to keep it as close to original as possible without, not to break anything. That's the main idea, to take it apart but don't break anything. This one seems to be glued quite well, so apparently it takes a while. Okay, I'm gonna pause here because I need to get some other tools. So I say the box cutter, tweezers, and soldering iron. So I am back. This is the nail polish disolvant. Sadly, it's not in English. So I'm just gonna maybe do like this. Might be easier. You need to attack the glue so it sticks. It's easier to take apart. So I'm gonna do this for the whole bottom side and then let it dry. So I'm gonna estimate around 15 minutes. Grab yourself a coffee. Don't soak it, but I'm applying liberally here, and just want to make sure. I'm just gonna open the speaker and check from above, see if I applied it everywhere. Don't apply it too much, so yeah, best to leave it to dry out. Yeah, so this is gonna attack the glue, so it's easier to remove from there. So I'm gonna try to use basically pretty much everything that's already on the old speaker. Yeah, so what I'm trying to show you is I got this part here and then I'm working my way higher. You need a pair of tweezers to not to break this spider. So yeah, you're gonna start over and over and over again until you get it like all out. But that's mainly the idea, so you can see I got it out here. I use the small tweezers to get it out. I don't know if I have enough hands. Then use the bigger pair of tweezers to move forward. As I said, I don't want to break it in. I guess this one was already opened and someone used a ton of glue in it, so it's really stiff. Should have been more flexible in my opinion. So you don't expect this procedure to be fast. So yeah, I'm gonna pause here and then I'm gonna take you to the next step. I do a marker with the whatever here to have the initial position. I finished removing the coil from underneath. It didn't take me that long, but you need like 3 hands or something. I'm gonna continue taking it apart. Since I managed to recover this coil, I'm just gonna have to put some lacquer or whatever, something on it to make it stiff again. What I did is I usually tried, I know this is a specific issue with this type of speaker, and when you open it up the whole coil ends up falling inside the speaker. But what I did for this one in particular, I just applied, I put a battery plus and minus on it, and it just jumped the whole thing out of the case. So I put I'm not gonna jump the hole because I still need to recenter the whole thing, and to show you the way and how I wind the coil, I'm gonna show you that also. Just have to, yeah, but this is, I guess I managed to keep the initial coil. I'm just gonna have to use it's gonna be some minutes. I didn't find this lacquer, I think it's called, for coils for winding coil, so I ended up using like wood paint. So it's like a lacquer for wood. I think this is how it's called. I'm gonna have to look it up. So of course I'm not gonna use this whole pint of it. I have a small nail polish that I filled it up and I just use that one. So this is basically that stuff. I'm probably gonna add at the end of the video. I'm gonna add how you wind this specific coil. As you can see, I damaged this bit here, but it's gonna see the rest of it. It's pretty much intact. Well, this is how I open them up anyway. Now I just found out this trick about I just figured out this trick with the battery, so I'm just gonna paint this one back and I'm just gonna put this back and see if it works this way. But yeah, it's definitely, this was recoiled because I know how these originally look. They don't look like this. So and this is what I use. I put that lacquer. I'm gonna look again how it's called. So that thing to fill up coils with in a nail polish whatever bottle, so it's easier to work with. So I'm just gonna fill this back up with this. Apply liberally, I guess, because it's gonna sink in anyway. And this dries like really hard. It's gonna take like at least half an hour if you use a hair dryer or something on it. So I'm probably gonna let it overnight and then continue in the morning. But you need to make sure this whole coil, so as you can see, it's not perfect. It has like this like there's a space in it, so you need to put it all back together. But anyways, I'm gonna try to show you how to wind a coil from start to bottom tomorrow. I was trying to show you how to recover the old coil. What I did was I put this, and this basically throws the whole coil out. After you finish disassembling the speakers, instead of taking it out, you just use this, maybe put it sideways, and this is gonna throw the speaker out of its case completely. So this is what I did yesterday, and this saved me to recoil the whole, redo the whole coil. I ended up fixing it. I don't know if you can like see extremely well, but it really is not perfect. But if I would have done it myself, I wouldn't have got it that much better. So I ended up using this paint, or really hard to it takes a lot to harden, or whatever, it takes hours. so I didn't show you in the videos, was you use this wood paint in a nail polish, and then you just, this is what I did yesterday, but I didn't show it in, yeah, you didn't really see it in the video. So I did this, I attached the whole coil back on this here, and what I did now is remove the dust gap. It was here, I just basically physically pushed. As you can see, I didn't really do a great job, but we'll have to do for now, I guess. Put it in the same spot and we'll be fine. So let's go back to the recentering. I cut a piece of paper here. I'm gonna put it in the coil here, in the magnet, sorry. This is to recenter the whole thing, so it doesn't touch left or right. It stays nice and tight in the middle. And after that I'm gonna put the cone and coil and everything back on top of it. Make sure you respect the polarities. I had a marker here, somehow I don't seem to find it. I'm gonna have to look for it and reapply it. It's like right here on the corner here, so it's supposed to be on the speaker to remain in the same spot. As again, I'm trying to use as much as I can. If you have to redo the whole paper, it will take a while, because you need to measure the diameter, and again, the coil, you need to have the same diameter of the wire, copper wire. So anyway, I'm gonna pause here to rearrange it into the correct position. I removed it again, so I'm gonna put the glue back in now. I'll try to use this as wide as angle as I can. So I'm gonna put the glue in, I'm gonna let it dry for a while. Don't too much of all of it, and again, as per my usual advice. Okay, I'm probably gonna take this in my hand because I don't do a very good job with. Okay, so I've already applied glue. I'm gonna start trying to piece it all together. I usually advise not waiting for the glue to dry a while before you put it back in. So I'm just gonna test it, and I guess when it's no longer, seems to be drying quite fast, so I guess I better get to it. Yeah, so if it's not gonna work, I guess you can just clean up the old glue and then redo the whole procedure. It's better to wait, I guess, than to get it wrong. So I lost my marker again. Okay. Okay, so I found my old marker while I was drawing the newer one, I guess. You can see two markers there. So, actually didn't clean the old glue. So, seems to be pretty stuck on there. Now you need to have like, so again, you leave the paper or plastic, whatever you put it in here for until the glue is dried. You don't want too much glue because if you get it wrong or something, you don't want it to fly from there, but I guess you want to not to have too much glue, not to have too less glue, because maybe if you want to redo it at a later time, it will be easier to take apart and redo it without breaking anything. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna pause here. So I stick my finger in there and make sure it's, maybe you have some pliers or something, some tweezers you can use to apply pressure. So make sure the glue is stuck there correctly, or the lower spider it's glued correctly. Otherwise it's not gonna. So yeah, at this stage, considering that I put the glue, but normally I would advise like leaving it at least for a few hours, but maybe overnight. Otherwise the glue is not, it depends what glue you're using, but I'm guessing if it's not super glue, it's gonna take a few hours to dry. Otherwise, even though you think it's glued, it's gonna be still flexible and it's gonna move around, and it's gonna, the coil is gonna touch, and you will have a poor sound quality. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So right now you're gonna let it dry overnight. I guess I can resolder these wires back on. Finally found my tweezers and my soldering iron. So I'm reattaching these. I'm gonna pause here. This is taking ages. I managed to put one, but I don't know, either I'm tired or something's off. I don't know. I don't seem to get it right enough, I guess. Finally. Yes, I got these back on. As I said, I might wait until tomorrow or something, at least a few hours. Otherwise, it will. If the glue is, I know since I let it dry now, I guess it should be fine. But I would rather wait. And I have a joke like for. In some cases, patience is just a virtue. It's a must. You need to be patient, so you need to let it dry out maybe a few hours. I'm gonna leave it dry overnight, and then put the dust cap, remove this paper from the inside, pull it out, and then put the dust cap back on. What I do is apply a bit of glue. I'm probably gonna continue tomorrow, yeah. So apply a bit of glue, but I'm gonna use the, yeah, all sharp things. This is the next day. I'm gonna try to show you how to put the dust cap back on, or at least how I do it. That should wrap it up. So we centered the speaker last night and let it dry overnight. Centered meaning that we left the paper in the middle of the magnet and coil there. I actually removed it earlier today. So Now I have applied this blue for throughout all the sides here. I have this duct tape or scotch, or I don't know how you call it. I'm gonna put it here so I can have it the other way around. I don't really have a good lighting in here, so I might run away with it. So managed to put it back together, press it in there, so it's pressed okay. Yes, this looks more or less decent. Gonna make sure it's pressed here okay. I'm gonna remove this. I only use it to be able to keep it there and move it around. So this is gonna wrap up our speaker. Complete fix, except for the coil. Yeah, I'm gonna pause here. Okay, so I paused. So here is a representation of the coil. This is the actual coil from the speaker up. So you are winding clockwise with the cone, speaker cone facing to you, and this is the way you're gonna do the coil. If I have the time, I mean, when I will have the time, I will do another coil. But it's basically, I think I did it several times. I did it the other way around, so from right to left, but it's from left to right, so it's clockwise. This is how you coil. I've made this from several videos. I have managed to do the coil. This is my third attempt. These are my previous attempts. Made the coil. So the main idea is you have to do the paper first and test it, see if it fits okay in the I probably said that already. And once you have the paper, you will start coiling, wiring this way. This is a 2-layer you have only 2 layers, so that's a basic simple coil. So yeah, from here on is just going back to centering. As a time, yeah, so the perfect coil. This is how it came out on a third attempt. I guess decent, but it took me a lot of time to get this done decently. So as you can see, it's not perfect, but it's good enough. You can use a magnifying glass, as I said. You can I got the first coils. I think the first one I got it finished, but it was tighter than the magnet, so it wouldn't fit here. You wouldn't have enough play. Yeah. So this is another speaker, basically the same speaker, but yeah. So I guess this is the most difficult part. So if you manage to save the coil, if if you manage to save the coil, you will have less to work with. You will have to work less on it. You would just re-glue the old coil back to the speaker and it should work. And you have way less time on your hands to work. I'm gonna get to centering this one. Probably, I don't know if I'll edit at the end of the video on the testing, the testing of it, but it's basically the same thing. Put the paper inside it, put glue on the lower spider, put glue on the higher spider. But yeah, that's the most difficult process, doing the whole coil. So unfortunately I don't have the machine or the technique, so I'm just telling you the tools that I'm using. Good luck on your projects. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it helps. Cheers, peace. Trying to explain this as good as I can. So first layer is gonna be like this and up, basically this, and the second layer is gonna be like this and down. So I'm gonna do a mock-up coil for demonstration purposes. I got this baking foil here. I cut my piece out of it, rolled it on the cone here. Again, make sure you have like the right specs for it. Make sure it's like as straight as possible. In here you should glue this. I'm just gonna apply this here for now, and start doing your coil. I was gonna pause here, but yeah, so probably gluing it is a better idea. So again, I'm not gonna use this actual coil, I'm just doing this as a mock-up. So this is my paper. See, because I didn't glue it properly, it just fell apart. So yeah, it's best to glue it. I'm gonna put it back on here as best as I can so it will be aligned. So yeah, you should glue this definitely if you want it to stay there, and you start coiling. If I already did this, I'm just gonna do it again for the demonstrative purposes. So this is how you do this. I'm gonna get another. So make sure you have the right coil size, you have the right cylinder size, you have the right coil depth, and you just start doing this layer by layer by layer until you get it done. After you finish the first layer, honestly, at this stage I don't even know how many what I've already filmed during this video, so if I redo this I'm really apologizing, but yeah, so finish at the end and then we come back. As I said, you can paint it so you see the difference between the first layer and the second layer when you're done, and then finish coiling. So what do you do when you have a pair of speakers that's quite old and you can't find the speakers to replace it, or how do you fix those? My solution was to find some TV speakers and basically get the coil from those. As you can see, this one was, they're different sizes. I needed a smaller size one. This one is bigger, this one is smaller, so that would be an idea. You can get a speaker for like €2 or something, that nobody uses, and you can see if the coil has basically the same specs or almost the same specs. I've already partially disassembled this one, just to see if I'm coiling in the right direction. It always helps to, yeah. So I initially got the first correct size, and then when I got the second one, I got it. As you can see, they're different sizes. Make sure you check the or an estimate size of the wire, the depth of the coil, if it has more layers, but normally it should be just plus and minus, so there's two layers. So this is how I managed to recover one of my I don't know how you say, it's not bass, it's not treble, is the medium frequency. So I ended up fixing this one for these like old speakers. It's like Bang & Olufsen. The treble and the bass were in good quality. This one is, I think it was a bit, but I had to glue the side for it. But yeah, as a solution to make that coil that is very small, and it might be easier just to buy a used whatever TV speaker and recover the old coil from it, because so basically you do the same procedure, but you remove the old coil and you use the one from the TV speaker, because it's way easier to work with that rather than doing the spaces for a treble or a medium frequency speaker. It's the magnet space is like really small, so you can't really work with it properly without, I don't know, you can't really work with it properly, not damage, because you won't damage anything, but you won't manage to properly get the same frequency. So it's a lot easier, as I said, to just get a used speaker that you get for €2 or $2 something, like very cheap. And as you can see, this one is bigger size, so it covers the whole thing. So the speakers that I got the coil from this one were exactly the same size, the same maybe the same wattage wattage and same ohm, but or approximately, but weren't. So I would say the most important is the magnet, because I've seen the difference. So you may have the same coil, and if you put it in different magnet, it sounds way better, totally different. This speaker, it doesn't really move, it's just fixed, even though it's centered okay and everything is like fixed. It's, you can't move it. So I think what the engineers at this company did, they also reverted the poles like plus and minus, so it has less average frequencies or medium or whatever. So I have like more only bass and treble, not, yeah. Okay, I hope this helps. So yeah, at the end I have a PayPal account. I don't mind $1 donation. I think it's empty at this point. So thanks for watching, and if this helped, I don't like bad comments where people are unhappy about the quality, or if the image is shaking or anything. So I don't mind people being awful, but I honestly, if I check their profiles, they haven't really done anything, they haven't created any content, but they feel like they can comment on other people's work. So yeah, okay, everybody's free to do anything, but I'll just delete the nasty comments. Thank you. That's a small preview.